Jeez, we look like porcelain dolls, man.
Does the lighting look weird to you?
We just look white.
Yeah. It is winter.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah, I thought you had more color. You're like half Asian.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be a lot darker than I appear in this video.
Boom. It is 7 a.m. on a beautiful February, mid-February morning. It's a solid 26 degrees outside, and we're here to talk about some pre-mortems.
Pre-mortems.
So, Jordan, first question for you. What is a pre-mortem?
All right, so a pre-mortem, I don't know the actual definition for it. I'm just gonna kind of explain from how I understand it.
Perfect.
So a pre-mortem is basically a way for you and your business partners or your team to address the fears or concerns that each individual has about the future of the company. So basically what you're doing is you are taking the role of being an author from a third-party perspective and writing about why your company failed. So it's basically an exercise, and what it results in doing is you get to read why, from your perspective, your company failed to everybody else, and then they get to read why they think the company will fail, or if it does fail, why it would.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's really helpful because it makes you think about and put on paper what your fears are and what you're predicting the failure, if it should happen, will be.
Yeah, because going into any kind of venture or business or team, I feel like everyone has suspicions about why things are gonna fail.
Yes.
People like identify weak points in either the team or in their teammates, and if you have the courage to bring that up and write it down, it's really healthy, and it drastically improves your ability to perform as a team.
If you have a weak link, I mean, don't be afraid to write that. This business is going to, business fails because of one weak link, and then you literally would write the article. Bob was the reason for the company's failure. He was assigned this role. He was not able to fulfill role because of lack of skill, determination, and sacrifice. I mean, that's the whole purpose of this. If you lie on your pre-mortem, you're not being honest, and that still is gonna be the reason you failed, because you didn't write it down, you didn't address it, and most likely everybody's gonna have the same kind of prediction.
Yeah, because
we're humans. Our nature is to predict the worst and expect the worst at all times.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's not hard to think about why your company or your startup is gonna fail. It's pretty easy, actually. You can think of 1,000 reasons.
What situations can pre-mortems be used for? Is it only are they only useful in business, like business teams?
I mean, they could be useful in, I mean, you could do it in your marriage, I guess.
Yeah.
But you could do it entering into a new sector of your business. Like if you are in car sales and now you want to move towards selling chairs, you could write a pre-mortem with your team about why your chair venture is going to fail.
Yeah.
I mean, really anything that you start that you want to, it's kind of like knowing your enemy, and your enemy is always yourself, and you need to know what those thoughts are, put them on paper, and know, you need to address the beast.
Yeah.
You know?
I think committees can use these, you know, like non-profit leadership teams can use these, for-profit leadership teams. I think schools can use these, like administrative staff at schools.
Mm-hmm.
Any leadership team where you're in charge of running an organization can benefit from doing this exercise.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Definitely.
So.
Yeah, it's a great exercise, and we're gonna read you guys our pre-mortems later on. And these are real, like really what we wrote.
Yeah. So let's just real quick jump into the nitty-gritty of how exactly, say somebody listening is or watching is like, okay, I want to do a pre-mortem, I want to try this out. How do they do that?
Pen and paper, baby. So I would suggest you write it down on paper because it feels a lot more permanent. If you type it out, it's kind of like you can go back and you can edit stuff. Write this shit down on paper. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But really, all you do is act like you were writing a column for the newspaper. If you don't know what a newspaper is, act like you were writing a blog, and title make the title something like "Young Company Fails" or "Young Company's Business Blows Up in Their Face." Date it and then write the story. Write the story as if you were somebody writing about your company and why it failed.
Yeah.
And that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
I mean, make it up. You're making it up. You're creating reasons of why the company's going to fail, and you make it kind of a story so it's fun to read.
Yep.
And it seems real.
Yeah. My only thing that I would add is call a meeting, get all of your leadership team there, explain real quick what a pre-mortem is to the best of your knowledge, and tell them you have 24 hours, go home tonight, and write a business article as if you're a reporter writing about why our organization, our team, our committee failed.
Yeah.
And then come back and the next day and have everyone read theirs out loud to the entire team. The whole value of this exercise is that you let other people know that you're already thinking about what they're thinking about too.
Yeah. I'm telling you guys, you think you're gonna go in there and rock worlds with like, oh man, I bet you nobody else is concerned about this. You'll find out everybody has the exact same concerns, and now that everybody knows about it, you can move on together, and you've already addressed the elephant. You don't have to hide around it anymore. You can go into the office and you can greet that elephant every morning and be like, we are never going to let you come to life.
Yeah.
Ever, because we've already addressed you.
Yeah. It's a small step in what should be. I believe that every team should operate with this level of communication and honesty and transparency, especially in the modern workforce today. I think that it's a great first step to get there, where you're literally being honest about what you think the company is going to fail for, if it does fail. Another thing it does is it forces you to exit the sunshine and rainbows mentality that most businesses have when you're first starting out. Yeah.
It makes you think about the bad, even though you don't want to.
Yeah.
You know, when you're young and when we started our company with our 4 best friends, nothing could stop us.
It's true.
But it forces you to face reality. And the fact that, 50% of businesses fail in their first year, or 75?
Yeah, it's 50% in their first year.
Yeah, it's like that's a reality, man.
Yeah.
It's a coin toss, basically.
It's true.
That's pretty alarming.
It is alarming. Let's do whatever it takes to decrease those negative odds, people. All right, Jordan, you want to read yours?
Yes. So I have not read this pre-mortem since I wrote it, and it looks like I wrote it in August of 25th of 2018. I have not reread this, so if I read anything that I wasn't supposed to read, I apologize.
Let it rip.
So the title is, our newspaper is called the Tulsa World. So it says Tulsa World, August 25th, 2018. The title, Tulsa Entrepreneurs That Had It All Going for Them. What Could Have Gone Wrong? We all know and love our local garage cleaning and organization company, Periwinkle. It seemed as though the sky was the limit for this forward-thinking service company. Last week, the company decided to close up shop. Surprised? Join the club. Our sources say that from a consumer perspective, the company appeared to be flourishing. However, from behind closed doors, the company was in a very deep hole. Financial debt and staffing were the straws that broke the Periwinkle's back in this story. After success in their debut year of 2017, the company decided to double down on their idea and began to take on debt. Debt that they were not able to sustain. With growth, the company couldn't keep up with the demand of customers. The struggle to find quality employees proved too much for the young entrepreneurs. Who knows what's next for the 3 Periwinkle owners? For now, we are all on the hunt for a new company to clean the garages of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Signed, August 2018, Jordan Evans. So now we just all got an insight into what my fears were in August 2018.
Staffing and leverage.
And taking on more debt than we could sustain.
Yeah. Did any of that surprise you? Like, did you forget anything, or do you? I always felt that way.
I think things have changed.
Yeah.
Staffing is definitely still a huge one.
Yeah.
But the ability to sustain debt, not so much.
Okay.
That's kind of diminished.
Huh?
But I mean, we read that among our owners.
Yeah.
In August of 2018, and everybody got to hear at the table what my fears were.
Yeah. Mine is very long. Mine's like 8 or what is that, 12 paragraphs. Yeah. Mine was like I would be a really good writer if I wrote for the newspaper, so I would have like a full column. I would have like a big couple pages. I didn't think about it like the front page. So I'm just gonna read the last 2 paragraphs of mine. We had the chance to build something that would change the world, but none of us wanted it bad enough to do what was necessary to get the job done. None of us wanted it bad enough to go door to door. None of us wanted it bad enough to ask our friends and family for help. None of us wanted it literally enough to sell out for it. And in the end, that's okay. That's why the successful founder is such a rarity. It really takes someone who's willing to lose everything in order to gain everything. None of us even tickled that kind of want. That's why we were all back to square one. So I wrote it as like a newspaper columnist came and, you know, that was like my quote at the end. I'm happy to put a link to mine. It's pretty long, but I'll put a link to mine in the show notes area.
That was a good one. That's still a fear of mine too. That like we are not actually willing to do what it takes.
Yeah.
You know, and every business owner, I mean, most have that fear. I would guess. Very rarely are you willing to just do anything for your business. And if you say I'm willing to do anything, that's bullshit.
Yep.
I'm sorry, you're not. Nobody is. You have to always weigh: is this worth it? Like, is it worth, you know, selling my house? Some people would do that. Some people wouldn't. Is it worth pulling my kids out of school? I don't know. I don't know what the scenarios are, but you're not willing to do whatever it takes. But you're gonna find out if you're willing to do what it takes for your specific business.
Yeah.
You know, sacrifice is different for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, so that's definitely one of my fears, and I didn't write that one down.
Yeah.
And the pre-mortem. But that's why those are great. It gives you almost foresight into your future. It's like when you go to a gypsy.
Yeah.
I've never been to one. That would freak me out.
Yeah, that'd be
And they
scary.
tell you your future, that you're like gonna, I don't know, you're gonna die in a car accident. And then you're just like, I'm never driving again. And then the one time you ride with a friend, you know, you get hit and you die and you're like, well, crap.
Yeah, it'd be intense.
But it's like, now that you know your future after writing this, or a potential future, you do everything in your power to avoid that from coming true.
Let me propose something. And I've never heard this before, but I think this would be a good idea. I think that in your organization, if you implement this, you should make it an annual thing and call it like a pre-mortem anniversary or something, or pre-mortem anniversary. Because the fears that Jordan and I had, not even a year ago, are no longer the fears we still have. We didn't even write that a full year ago.
Yeah, that's true.
And things are completely different. So I recommend strongly that you do this once a year, because your fears are gonna change, and it will keep you in that open and honest environment and keep reinforcing that in your organization, which I believe is probably maybe one of the most important things that I'm learning through running and growing Periwinkle. Is the importance of the transparency and the honesty and the open communication lanes.
Yeah. I mean, in being a team, if you have partners, you're not a team if there's information withheld, or fears or concerns or wins or anything. It needs to be an open line of communication. That way you can all work together. It's like tug of war, man.
Yeah.
So here, tug of war is a great example. The team that wins at tug of war isn't the strongest team. It's the team that pulls at the exact same time in certain pushes. If everybody's just pulling like at different times and different paces on the side of the rope, it's easy for the other team to beat them, because the teams that chant like ho 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 ho, they're all pulling at the exact same time. So even though the force is probably the same as the other side, it's the fact that they're doing it at the exact same time in unison that it makes a difference, and it causes them to win. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like what business partnerships are. It's not all about giving it all you have the entire time. It's about unison and timed teamwork, you know.
Final thoughts on pre-mortems?
Do them. They're fun. It's cool to look back on. They'll help you. I mean, if anything, it addresses the elephant that's already in the room.
Yep. Call a meeting, set the expectations, give them 24 hours, come back the next day, read them out loud to every single person. Let everyone read theirs to the entire group.
Yeah.
Do it once a year. Do this. We did it. It helped us.
We'll probably need to do it again.
We need to do it again.
Yeah.
So, all right. Over and out.
Later, guys.